With yours truly, Jennifer Nelson. Yo, it's a family affair.
Good evening. Welcome to another episode of Check That Pulse podcast. Thank you for joining us. Today we have something a little bit different. We are going to do a little more in-depth about life and family and keeping family together. So before we go there, I'm your host, Jen. I know you probably can't see me, but, I'm over here on the side. And my beautiful co-host, as always,
Marjorie, Christina, and Queen.
And we are so glad you're here. We're glad to be here. Everybody had a good day today?
Yes.
All right. Okay, so we have a special guest, Mr. Jonathan Williams. And he is here to talk to his mother, Queen Anne, about resolving any unresolved issues or feelings or resentments or, sometimes in life we go through things. And the last episode we talked about men holding their feelings in or, just not knowing how to express themselves. So we're going to give him this opportunity tonight to go deep and just say how he really feels, because that's what life is about. Yep. Going deep, finding the real meaning of life, love, and relationships. So I'm going to let her have the floor. Go ahead, Queen.
Okay. Yes, this is my awesome son, Jonathan Williams, here. And I just want to ask him a few questions, and then he can give me some answers. And so one of my questions I want to ask him is, what was it like growing up in a household with 5 females?
To be honest, it was just it was kind of hard, but at the same time it was I kind of ignored it, put everything on the back burner, kinda, and just maintained the spirit of rebellion, a rebellious spirit, so I could just kind of like find myself. Really, that's really what I had to do, which was hard without no direction, no guidance, or anything like that. So I turned the cheek to what my mother was saying. No matter what she said, coming from a female, it just didn't direct me in the right way. So therefore, I turned to the streets, and which was a bad move. But at the same time, I feel like I learned a lot when I did turn to the streets.
Right.
But if I could go back, of course, I would listen to the woman,
Absolutely.
Because it don't matter what she said, whatever came out her mouth, it could have been 1,000% right, correct. Somebody on the street could have said the same thing, and I would listen at them instead of listening at, my mom.
Right.
So,
That's nice appreciation right there, to know that, your mother really does have your back, even when you don't even think she do, when you, don't think that she has your best interest at heart, at the end of the day, she ain't gonna tell you nothing that's gonna hurt you. She ain't gonna tell you nothing that she wouldn't do herself, like you her baby, so she gonna protect you as best she can, whatever she tell you, she telling you for your own good. She ain't just telling you just because that's what she wants you to do, she telling you for your own self, so. And it's great that you realize that now, because a lot of people still out here rebelling against their moms, even at, a late age in their life, so.
That's
that's awesome. I'm glad that you were able to, you know, realize that, you know, whether, no matter what age it was, you know what I'm saying, you here now, you know, and you know that she ain't gonna, you know, she don't want to see you do no wrong. She don't want to see you, you know, no wrong come to you. So she ain't gonna do nothing but try to benefit you. So I'm glad that you realize that now.
Right.
Yes, indeed. And I think that's very awesome that you can, as a man, admit where you went wrong at.
Right.
Like, that takes a lot of strength. You are very strong to be able to do that. Because a lot of men are in denial.
Right.
Yeah.
And they don't respect their mothers. She
Right.
gave them birth, but they do not respect her.
Right.
Like, it's just like they attitude is just like, you know, oh, so she gave me birth, so what? Dude, if she hadn't birthed you, you wouldn't be here. Don't you realize that?
Right.
The fact that she gave life, gave birth to you, you owe her honor instead of her owing you something. Because I know a lot of men think that their mothers owe them. Like, or not just the mother, but you grew up with 4 sisters in a household. That had to be hard for you as the only male. That had to be hard. I understand that. But to take on this ownership, like, you know, you owe me, I don't owe you nothing, you owe me something. Attitude, that is so wrong, because if anything, the fact that she's your mother, she deserves everything. Like, you should be willing to give her whatever it is that she's desired, just because she is your mom. And the fact that you can come on here before the world, admit that that you was wrong in the way that you were seeing things, that's very awesome. I applaud you for that, because that's not easy to do. But you stepped up and you did that, so that's awesome. Go ahead, Queen.
Okay, yes, very well said, and thank you for your honesty. So, you know, somewhere across the line, I began to feel like that I failed you in eras of your life, and I started to feel like you hated women, you know, and so kind of like in my heart, I knew you didn't, because, you know, you had your sisters, and I guess it was more of the rebellious stage, and I felt like you wasn't hearing me, so it felt like I was, you just wasn't happy with the grow up time, and I didn't know how to take that, so I started to form my own opinion of trying to make sense of what was going on with our relationship, because you are my only son, and so at some point I felt like I was just trying to. I showed you when you came into this world how much I loved you, and even the girls started to feel some type of way, because they started to feel like I was doing more for you, but I wasn't doing, you know, much loving on them. But you know, having those 3 girls first and looking for that boy, it seemed like he wasn't gonna come. So, you know, when you finally got here, it was just like, you know, it was just, I got what I really wanted, you know. And so, you know, I felt like, you know, I was pouring everything that I could, you know, into you. But, you know, at a time when you became fatherless, at that time, when I started to, I guess, experience more of what I was going through, and then having to deal with my children. And then I had this one son that was trying to find himself. And then I began to be uneasy within my own self. And so I guess I had a lot of mixture. So I guess I'm sort of answering some of my questions that I've had. I had a mixture, because what I was going through and then what you were going through, but I did start to feel that way. My question is, did you ever get to that point that not so much as hating the female, but did you stop loving me as your mom?
Answer to that question is H. No, I never stopped loving you as a mother, as a person. Period. I just didn't know how,
Right.
to love. Just had mixed emotions, mixed feelings, but I never thought that you failed me as a mother. With everything that was going on during our time, life just hits you, and you just, I feel like you deal with it the best way you know how.
Right.
But, to be honest, you have really showed me a lot in life, even though it may not look like it, and I didn't take in some of the things that, you were showing me, but I actually did. I was kind of felt trapped a lot, having to, just do a lot of things that the family was doing, like going to church seemed like we went to church 6 days out the week,
every day.
And I remember a point in time in my life where you always had to come look for me, for church. When it was time to go to church, I wanted to hang out, chill with the fellas, and this one particular time you came to look for me, some stuff went on or whatever, and I decided to, just try things different. I decided to let me find something in church that's going to have my focus, because it ain't like that I cannot be there. It ain't like I can't go, so I have to go. So, once I got that on, you didn't have to look for me anymore, I know y'all was wondering why I was not doing the same thing anymore, I was there at 6:30 or whatever time we had to attend church. I just stayed on around and realized, this is what I had to do, so I'm gonna go ahead and, do it.
Right. Yeah.
Well, for those of y'all that don't know us, we grew up in a Holiness Church, and we was in church almost every single day for hours and hours and hours. So, on the knees, tearing for the Holy Spirit. So, yeah, that was torture.
It was torture with being young, and we didn't understand.
Yeah.
Right. We didn't know what we was doing.
What we were doing, and the other they was trying to tell us, we wasn't grown and we wasn't where they were, so they was trying to teach us for what was to come.
Obedience and stuff. We didn't care.
Yes, we didn't care about
that.
being obedient, but we know that obedience is better than sacrifice. So we definitely, it is hard getting that over to kids, and how no matter what you got to be obedience, because I used to tell my kids, I know everything,
And they used to think that.
They used to think that,
When you grow up in a Holiness Church where all they preach about is hellfire and brimstone, if you think the wrong thought, you're going to get struck with lightning.
They
Like,
did teach us that.
Oh my God, it was,
Yes, it put a lot of fear in
Yes.
us. And we know that God is not a God of fear that way, And so we have to remember, what's the scripture tells us, that He is not giving us a spirit of fear.
Right.
And so we have to go on that, yes.
So I have a question. How was it to have 4 sisters and you're the only boy? Like, did y'all have one bathroom?
Yeah, no.
How was that? I can only imagine.
Back during that time when we had one bathroom, it was like all she had to do was tell us we couldn't go outside, and that was my everything. So you trying to tell me I got to sit up in here with them? Oh yeah, I'm really just pulling my hair out. So they didn't. I mean, besides chastising us and things like that right there. You know, other than that, it was just mainly, you know, that's all she had to do, really. But other than that, dealing with their emotions and they, you know, they monthlies and stuff like that right there. It was it was rough, but you know, I kind of like, you know, just tried to ignore it the best way that I knew how. And like I say, if I could get outside, I'm good. You know, I can go outside, I'm good. You know, so.
Well, I have a question. Is there anything different that you feel like she could have done to, I guess, meet you where you were? Like, now that you're older and you can think back on it, what's some advice you would give for other mothers that might not know how to reach their son?
That's a difficult one. Yeah, I don't think she could, I don't think nothing would change, you know, in the way that she instructed me. Like I said, I think it was all on my end, you know, whether I decided to go with that instruction or not.
Okay.
But advice on for other, you know, mothers in this situation, you have, to me, it's just rough for a female alone trying to guide a man, you know, and for him to be able to see, you know, everything that she's saying, you know, and have it coming out where he's able to, you know, embrace it and deal with it. It's just gonna have to take some, you know, some bearing down, not bearing down to where the child can't do anything, but like bearing down to where you just making sure that the child is, you know, is not in the bad state of mind, you know, in the state of mind that you don't want them in. Mainly that has to do with fatherhood, you know. I just feel like a man needs to guide his son.
Absolutely.
You know, growing up, you know what I mean. It's just rough to me, that's how it was like. It's just rough for the male trying to get, you know, anything out of the mother. You know what I mean? When it comes to direction. You know what I mean? And
get that love, you know,
right.
that nurture, right? But to get that actual manhood, you need that from a male.
Right, because I was scared of my father, not like fearsome of him, but you know, when he left, I wasn't scared of my mom. So it was like, you know, it's kind of like I could almost, you know, just do what I wanted to do, but, you know, and go out here and mess up and nobody would care. You know, but I, you know, grew up and realized that it definitely is not like that.
Right.
So.
And that I raised 2 sons, and although I waited like 10 years in between marriages to marry again, and I, truth be told, just having a transparent moment, I married again to get a father figure for them because I realized I can't raise them to be men because I am a woman. But trying to play both roles in between time, be hard on them at the same time, be soft, be gentle.
Right.
But you want to teach them in a way that you don't kind of have them going toward the feminine side.
Right.
But a woman cannot raise a boy child to be a man. That's just what it is. So my thought process, and I ain't really telling nobody what to do, because you do what you want to do with your household. But for me, my mindset was, you know, you got to get them a male figure. They won't be their father. They already here, so it won't be their dad. But it takes more than a sperm donor to be a father or to be a father figure. Somebody has to be the one to step up into that role to raise that child. Somebody has to want to do that. Like women, as women, we get involved with people, and sometimes we just don't think that far ahead of the game, because some of these men, they don't want that. Like they're not going to take that time out with your child and teach your child how to be a man. So that's something that we really need to consider when we're dating people. That, as well as, I know it had to be hard for you. especially because you got 4 sisters. So dealing with their personalities and their, like you said, time of the months where they having their attitudes or mood swings or whatever, that had to be hard on you. And I get that. But I applaud you for not taking it out on her, your mom, because the fact that your father wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
So, Queen, I'm going to let you take it from here.
Tell them what your name is.
Jonathan?
No, tell them what I call you. That became your name. Sorry. Start with the T. T-H-E.
Oh, the boy. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, I was kind of lost right there. Okay, well, yeah, that's what, you know, that's what you was calling me. That's what,
Yes.
That's the name in your phone.
Yes, yes.
I don't have a problem with that, you
What's
know.
the meaning behind that?
Well, I was always having to find him. Send somebody to look for him.
Okay.
So it became, where's the boy? Where the boy at? Yeah.
I got it. Okay.
And so, you know, as the years grew, you know, I kept, you know, the name, you know, and so he's in my contact, you know, as the boy. He's a
He was the only
man
boy.
here.
He was the only
The
boy, though. Yeah.
There was like, where's Jonathan? Where's the boy?
So are you gonna change it to the man now?
That's a good thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes, he has graduated.
Congratulations.
Long graduated.
Well, with that being said, my next question is, how did that affect you as a father? So you are a father, you know, how does that affect, you know, your father being absent, how does that affect your fatherhood towards your children?
That's a very good question. I just make sure that I do whatever he didn't do.
Exactly. I
You know,
absolutely agree.
completely break the cycle.
Yeah.
You know, I just sat here and think. I was talking to Tamara, my sister, the other day, and she just said something simple as, he didn't throw the ball with me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some simple like that. I can't remember if that ever happened.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I remember other things, but I only remember one thing that, you know, that my daddy taught me, and that's how to shoot a pistol. Like what that's done for me today, not too much, you know. But I learned how when I was around them, you know, they taught me not to, you know, play with them,
Right.
and to learn how to deal with them. But other than that, you know what I mean. I can't think of, you know, anything, you know, that I learned from this guy.
Wow.
You know, but that's where, like I say, the cycle breaks. You know, I have a son, and I refuse to, you know, let that continue.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Because I know how important it is.
Right.
You know, he just will not be, you know, fatherless.
Right.
Not just him, you know, I got 4 other girls too, you know, they will be fatherless.
And then you gotta teach your son too, you know, to be a great father like you, you know. You know, we gotta break these generational curses, because sometimes, you know, it could be something that's hereditary, which that's not one of them. But, you know, it could be some stuff that is, you know, passed down through generations. But, you know, we gotta be the ones, like you said, to break that cycle. You know, to let our children, teach our children the proper way, because some of the stuff that we just weren't shown, just weren't taught, because our parents were ignorant of it. So, you know, some of the stuff that, you know, we're learning now, we have the opportunity to show our kids or to teach our kids well beyond the years that we learned these type of things. So, I definitely applaud you on that. I agree with that 100%. I'm kind of in the same boat, you know, with my dad. He's no longer with us, but, you know, when he was, just the whole throw the ball thing, I'm not a boy, but I wouldn't have mind throwing the ball. I still would have threw the ball with my daddy, you know, if he would have been there to throw the ball with me. But he was not, you know, and to know that, you know, he threw the ball with other kids, but didn't throw the ball with his own kids, you know, that kind of put a little, you know, damper on my heart, you know. But, you know, it put in my mind too, same way like yours, I'm gonna be everything that my absent parent wasn't, you know, for my kids. Right. So they know, you know, they don't have to go through the same thing that I went through. And on top of that, they know that, you know, this is the way it's supposed to go. Right. You know, just because it's been going this way, don't mean it got to continue. Right. You know, we can break this cycle. We can go on and do it, you know, the way it's supposed to go. So I applaud you on that.
And I just want to kind of add to what Jonathan was saying. His father was on a different shift, that second shift, and so my children was with me a lot. And so a lot of the times, if it was school time, they was getting up going to school, so it was briefly you see them in the mornings, and then by the time you get out of school, you don't see them again until sometimes the next morning if they weren't able to be up late. And then you had the weekends. And the weekends, those of you that know, if you work all week, then you just got that weekend. And a lot of times, you know, it can be tiresome. Not that I'm making excuses, right. Just pointing out that my children was with me majority of the time. You know, most people, they be like, well, where's he at? And so I always felt bad because I'm like, he's never with us. But he was with us, but like, when he got off at work late that night and go to weekend. Yeah. So he didn't do a lot of what Jonathan probably remember, because by the time we split, he was about, 12, 11. So those times where it really meant where he needed to be. So I'm sure, just to clear it up, he did learn some things, but the things that he did need to learn, by then we were no longer together. So I don't want to leave him hanging out there like, you know, I don't want to make it look like that, you know, because I don't want nobody to make it look like that, you know, if him to make it look like that from, you know, with me. So, yeah. But children, during the times of children, I do understand that children will see stuff in the eyes of a child, right? You know, and so they will see it in the eyes of a child. So, and now that he's grown up, he may not remember some of those things. So,
and that's definitely possible, because, like you said, they see it through the eyes of a child. So as they grow, sometimes those memories come through, sometimes they don't. Sometimes it takes something to trigger that memory, and they have like a deja vu moment. Then sometimes it don't. Sometimes they just don't remember, and then that parent tells them, "Don't you remember when I did such?" But they don't. They was too young to remember.
Like camping or something.
Yes,
he did do that, and you know he loved outdoors doing things, but it's not about him. We talking about him,
right? So, is there anything else that you feel like you want to speak on to your mother?
No, I know he probably did teach me more things than that, but that's the only thing I remember. I know I wanted him. I remember asking him to teach me how to drive a stick, because he always had straight drives. And he would, you know, switching gears every time we'd be on the truck, all us on the back of the truck, you know, between gears, and, you know, that was just everything to me. So I just wanted to, you know, learn how to drive a stick, and, you know, I'm going to teach you, blah, blah, blah. Well, when I was 16, I had to learn how to drive myself. And so to this day, you know, I can drive because I taught myself. You know.
So it basically never stopped you from doing what you wanted to do.
Right.
That's awesome.
During those adolescent, you know, years that we had, you know, even just following, you know, trying to find, save our sons, Big Brothers community thing that they had, and trying to find people that would help out with my son. Just take that, do what I can't do. And during that time, it was very hard to find, even though I went to some of those people, but I didn't get the help that I needed. They didn't just really follow up, with those. And so that was kind of bothersome for me, because, when a mother is looking out for help for her son, because you don't want, the police all on them and beating all on them, or they end up in a different place. You want to try to have that intervention now, and so it's hard out there for women that can't get the people that will come in and see them struggling in those areas and want to put their 2 cents in to try to help them, and nowadays we have to check people. We do understand that you don't want to put your child with anybody that you want that would do them harm. But it is a good idea to try to reach for people in the communities and see for your young men if you got somebody that can play the baseball with them. Or you got somebody that can play soccer or whatever with your son, so that he would have that figure in there, and they become their mentors, and they can say, oh, I see somebody that I can be a help to. And so we need that in this time. We really do, because we got a lot of children now that are going astray, and they being, wayward kids, and it's mostly because just like he and I, we just didn't have that connect right there, where I'm understanding him, or he understanding me, not feeling like, hey, she just won't let me do this. She won't let me stay in the house, but it was always about protection for me, because I didn't want him to get out there and getting too involved in people's lives and doing too much, because it was a little fast for me, because I grew up in very strict, and I turned out all right, and made me stay in my lane, you know what I'm saying? So I was trying to make him stay in his lane, as well as the girls and everything. But and like he was talking earlier, women, we house the children, and so I couldn't feel what he felt. And there was things in his life as he was growing up that he needed a man, his father, to talk to and say, this happened at this age and that age. And so I didn't know how to just come to him and say, oh, this happened, because I don't know what age that was supposed to happen in, And so a lot of the times he had to learn a lot of stuff on his own. So that meant whatever trial and error he went through, he had to get that on his own. But his father should have been there to tell him, what to do when it's time to come down for the female that he likes, and what to expect, and all this kind of stuff. And my son, yes, definitely that. But my son didn't get this, and I cried many of tears, and crying to God, asking God to help, my son, because my son came from me, and so I know that there's greatness in him, and I also know that there's different forces out there that will try to grab at him, to pull him from areas of his life, but I want my son to know that just like he used to walk around, this is what my son did when he was little. I wore a lot of dresses back then, and so I could, wherever I would be, he would hold the end of my skirt, and he would walk around like that, being connected to me. So, and I just want him to know that he still can be able to do that, but not on a close rim like that. He can still follow me. He can still reach out and touch because I've gotten older, but I still have a lot of the same values, you know, and that, you know, just as close as him following me, holding on to my skirt and feeling that love just from holding on to my skirt. I still have that same love, if not much more now. And so I don't want him to ever feel like that I don't love him. I don't want him to feel like that he can't come to me. And we've touched heads. We're still bumping heads a little bit, you know.
Just
but
don't let that skirt go.
Yeah, just don't let that skirt go, you know. And it's okay to say, you know, Mom, you know, you out of place.
Right.
You know, and so that helps me to back down because sometimes moms can come across real strong and be like, because she wants it her way. She wants it done her way, you know, and so I still gotta like remember that my son is grown, you know, cause, you know, when my children start, I'm still his mom. Right.
That's still a man.
Yeah.
Still a man. You know,
Exactly.
he got to make his own decisions.
Right.
And stuff. You can guide him as much as you can.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, he gonna make his own
He
decisions.
he definitely gonna make his own decision. I remember when the girls and him was when they were like they were in their 20s, but I didn't want to let them go. I wanted to still treat them like they were 16.
Right.
You know, because they're my babies. You know, and just be like, and I am so involved in their life. I stay involved in their life.
That's
you know,
awesome.
I'm if I ain't heard from you, I'm calling them.
That's awesome.
You know, seeing what's going on with. I'm involved with the grandchildren's lives. You know, and so. I just don't want you to feel that. If you ever feel that, just know it's a demonic spirit out there trying to bring that to you. And the things that I did try to do, I only did it for the way that I knew how to. You know, and if there's anything that, you know, even now, if you feel that you need to say, you know, feel free to say, because you know, we're going to be whole regardless. You know, we're going to be whole regardless.
Yeah, I feel like our relationship now, you know, is just, it's greater than it's ever been. Even though we bump heads and, you know, we go through our things still, I feel like our relationship is just, you know, where it's at now, it's never been there before. You know, I got a sense of understanding now. I look back over my life and I see all the things that I was that you were trying to shield me from. You know, mainly the streets and, you know, just the world itself. You know what I mean? And, you know, so, you know, I can't never, you know, hold you at fault or anything like that right there for, you know, the way that things went in my life, you know. It's just a part of growing up. And, you know, every situation, it's really how you react to the situation, you know, that comes abroad, you know. But this life, they didn't give us no book on how to do this thing. So, you know, you do it the best way you know how, you know. So.
That's right. And life will keep life.
And life will keep life. And I wanted to say to the mothers out there that, you know, have sons that you're raising, you know, don't give up. You know, just keep on, you know, looking for that person for your son. You know, keep on showering your sons with love. Keep on praying for them. Keep on speaking into your son's life what you want them to become. You know, keep speaking the positiveness over their lives because they need that. Because children, they love to get praised by their parents, and the more you praise them, the more they're gonna make you proud. You know, and so don't never stop praying and praising, you know, your children, because they are a product of you. And don't never allow anybody to come between you and your kids, because your kids need them. If you birth them, you always feel a connection from them. And even if you didn't birth them, your relationship relationship should be so strong that you would feel that connection,
Right.
you know, from them.
Right.
And I want to say real quick to my son, my prayer for you is you would see greatness always in your life, and that you would strive to be the highest in whatever God has called you to be.
Right.
Only you know that. And that you continue to keep God first in your life and allow Him to direct you. And whatever come your way, if you find evil that's coming your way, then you pray to get the evil out of your way. And then you continue to do good things, because you have children coming up that you're raising, and you want them to see the good things that is going on in your life, because you want to see where they are going in their life. And anytime that you start to get discouraged, you know, go to your happy place.
Yes.
It's okay for you to have a moment where it has to just be you and you and you by yourself.
All
You
about
know, it's all about you. If you if you need to go sit at the park just to get peace,
Right.
that's what you do. If you need to go and let them push your cubicles back or your toes back, it's okay. Men are doing that too.
Yeah,
You know,
ain't nothing wrong with
Yeah,
that.
nothing wrong with that.
you
You
need to
know.
go-
Women like that. You
need
see
to
your
go-
nails, they clean.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they love
If you
that.
need to go grab on to your mama's skirt,
Yes.
Go grab
yes,
on to your
that's
mama's
it.
skirt.
Yeah, to
Right.
say, Mom, let's go out to eat. Let's go
Yes.
do something.
Absolutely.
You know, or I just come, to visit you, or
Right.
whatever, see what's up, and we talk a lot.
right?
You know, but don't hesitate. You know, don't allow yourself to become stagnated in errors, because see, once you open up your mouth and you begin to speak what you
Right.
need to happen in
Right.
your life, you putting it out into the atmosphere.
Exactly.
Right.
All you gotta do is put belief to
Communication.
it.
That man.
Speak
That
it,
verbalize
and
it.
receive it.
And receive it, yes.
You can't even imagine what that'll do for you.
Exactly.
Man. It's you gotta
Exactly.
verbalize it. You know, if you gotta talk, it don't even matter who you talking to. You can talk to yourself, talk to the wall. You know, you can talk to the Lord.
Just
Lord gonna hear
verbalize it.
you. You hear me? Like, just get it out. You know, it's gonna make you feel better to just voice it. You know,
Yes.
even if it ain't nobody sitting in front of you listening to you. You know, God hear you. He everywhere. He
Yes.
all seeing, all knowing, all that, all hearing. You know, so He gonna hear it. You know, so if ain't nobody if you can't physically see nobody sitting in front of you, you know, still go ahead, get it out. Like, get it out. You're gonna feel so much better. Like, it's just gonna be like a relief. It's like a weight off of your back. Like, oh, okay, I got that out. God, dog, I don't know what's coming next, but I know I got that off of my back. Okay?
Yes, definitely that.
And it will
Definitely that.
empower you for what's to come next.
Right.
Yes, that's true. That's true. And to make you guys laugh. Now there've been a couple times he done made me mad, but he had to get out the house first.
Oh yeah. Them some
So
moments
we had
right
some
there.
of them moments
Oh,
too,
yeah.
you know. He had to get out the house. So, yeah.
It happens, you know, like
Yes.
young men growing up, like it's just trials and tribulations, you know, especially when, you know, the male figure isn't as prevalent as they should be, you know, so it's gonna be some trials and tribulations, you know. My brother done got put out a couple times, you know, like it happens, you know.
Although I'm not talking about like literally put out. I'm like, we about to go at it.
Oh, okay,
And
okay.
I done got real mad, and I'm coming down, about to come down the stairs.
Oh, okay. You talking about
And he done got to the door before I can get down the stairs.
Okay, I got you. He done got away.
Yeah, he got away, but I was coming.
Now, let me say this right quick before she get down these stairs.
I also knew that, it would give me some time to, think for myself, give her some time to
Right.
think for myself,
Yeah.
and,
Fresh air.
realize, what really actually happened.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Try to scan all aspects of it and make sure that I, go ahead and try to apologize. 9 times out of 10, I was at
9 times out of 10. Definitely get that. But I mean, you a child, she's an adult. She done been through, not everything that you done been through, because she's a female and you a male. But she done been through that adolescent state. And she's a grown woman now, so she can guide you. But at that moment, we kids. So like she said, we thinking like kids.
So and also, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You go ahead.
Also, especially for males, you got to have somebody there to teach you how to channel all that energy.
Right.
Like, if you don't know, you're going to be wilding out. Like, you just know what you feel, and you're going to strike and hit whatever's in your path.
Yeah.
But if you got that male figure there, whether he's your biological or not, if a male figure is there, and if he's a real man, he's going to teach you how to channel that energy.
Right.
So, because that's just a role that a woman could do her best. And I've been there. So if there's nobody else there, you're going to have to step up. But you do your best. But at the end of the day, you can't raise a man.
Right. That's
so
true.
That's
and
all
I'm going to say one more thing about that, because I've been in that state before, of course, and my son, he only 13 right now. So this happened probably like a year ago, maybe, where he, was just frustrated about something that I feel like he shouldn't have been that frustrated about, but he punched a hole in the wall. So I'm like, what in the world going on with you? Like, what? Like, we got to channel this energy, like you just said, and get this under control to see what's going on. And at that point in time, my stepdad, he just stepped in the place, and he got my baby together and was like, look, I understand, I get it, I've been there before, but look, this is what you got to do, and that's what it takes sometimes. Like, he was on the outside, he not in our household, but he came, he saw, that there was a need, there was a necessity for a male figure to step in right there in that place at that time, and he did that. And my son we had no kind of might have a little bit of incident, but tiny, not that big of a hole in the wall, but it helped. I know that it helped. I know that my son learned something from that situation, and that he's able to realize that, okay, that this was not the proper thing to do. I can find another way. If I'm upset about something, there's another way that I can release that energy, or that I could channel that energy towards that versus doing it this way. Yes. So, I definitely agree. Man, if these male figures, and those are the best ones, I feel like, are the ones that had the absent parents or had the absent father. Our mother, even women too, because there are motherless children out here as well. So, those, I feel like, people that are motherless, those are the best teachers, or those are the best people to, mentor or guide the children that are motherless, because most of them feel like you said, I know what I've been through and I know how I felt at that time. I'm gonna do everything in my power to make sure this child don't feel that same way. So, we said this the last episode, like, we really just need more positive role models and stuff out here that are willing to step in and help in the community, for these children that are parentless or have their parents, but their parents just aren't the greatest role models for them. And some of the parents, they realize that, they are okay with receiving the help. They okay with, their kids having mentors and stuff. I'm okay. My son has a mentor, and that's because he has an absent father, so I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that, as long as he's a positive role model in my son's life, and he has been since day one. So, I would never be like, no, don't do that. That ain't his daddy. Like, no, that's a positive role model.
That's so ignorant.
Yes, it absolutely is. Like, it don't matter. Like, this man that I'm talking about, that's my son's mentor. We have no relation. Like, we work together for a short period of time. We don't even work together still, but he's still a positive role model in my son's life. Like, that's a real man. And this guy that I'm talking about, he young. Like, he I don't even think he's 20 yet. He might be about 9. I think he's 19 right now at this moment. But he's in college. You know, he's working. Like he's everything. He got positive going for himself, and he's able to. He's even stepping out here and showing my son, you know, positive role models, even at a young age. He ain't even 20 yet, and he's taking that due diligence to step out here in communities. And his father is very prevalent in his life. This is not a fatherless child that I'm talking about. So this is a guy that has a positive role model, a positive father that has shown him nothing but a great man, you know. So he learned from his father, and now he's out here showing other kids, you know, he ain't got kids yet. You know, he's showing other kids that aren't even related to him how to be a man.
Yeah.
And I salute him every day. Like he knows to this day. Like I appreciate him for everything that he's ever done, you know, with my son and for my son. So again, I know I done went on and on, but my main point is just, you know, just having those positive role models, you know, there to step in where, you know, there is some absenteeism.
Right. And kids just need to have people that believe in them.
Right.
And that would listen to them.
Yeah.
Because most of the time,
Definitely
if it's a
listen.
single parent, I say woman for the most part, she trying to raise her kids and she trying to work and provide. So there's gonna be some holes there somewhere.
Right,
So to
right.
have somebody that's willing to step in and
Right.
fill those holes, like I don't see no woman turning that down.
Right.
But you know. So did you have anything else before we go to the teaching?
With all that wrapped into one, you know, keeping them busy as well.
Yeah.
Not giving them no time to sit here and, you know, come up with nothing to be, you know, to get in trouble.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But keeping them busy, and then, you know, you good to go with a male child. You know what I mean? You always got something to do. Oh, it's this time. Oh, I got to do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, you know, they just laying around doing nothing. You better expect, you know.
Yeah. Some
Yeah,
trouble to come into
expect
play.
trouble.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, now it's time for Dear Jen. Dear Jen, I am unable to figure out, excuse me, Dear Jen. That was a little too fast. I am unable to forgive my mom for putting me out when I was 14 years old. In the middle of winter, in the pouring rain, she threw my clothes in a grocery bag and shut the door in my face. I was arguing with her husband and she took his side. I didn't have anywhere to go. I believe this is the reason I have struggled all my life. I am 40 years old. How can I move on?
Whoa. Well.
Or move on?
I wish we would have known what the
Let
argument
it go.
was about.
Right.
That might have a big thing to do with like how somebody can get their input, like what we are arguing about.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I mean, I guess reevaluate the conversation. Maybe try to take some accountability.
Right.
When people get married, I think it's best for their relationship if they have a strong union and
With
sometimes
their partner.
right. That means they probably gonna come before the kids to a certain degree. Of course, they need to be thinking about the well-being of the child, like make sure you know they're taken care of in the best way. But if you've been over there pushing buttons all day, being disrespectful, I mean, hey,
It's gonna come with it.
yeah, maybe if your mom is still living, go back and talk to her about it. See if y'all can rectify some things. Maybe you apologize.
Clarify. Yeah.
She apologized
Yeah.
and find some closure.
Right.
If she's not living anymore, then write a letter about it and bury it.
Put it in a ball and just release it.
Yeah.
Because if you're 40 years old,
Right.
it's time to let it go.
Right.
Like by now, you should be grown.
Right.
Probably got kids of your own. Don't make the same mistakes. Whatever you did then, don't allow that to happen in your household. Like, move on.
Right.
You shouldn't still be holding on to that because,
Right.
again, that's your mother.
Mm-hmm.
So
And then
let it go.
with that being said, too, like, again, that was probably as a child, I'm sure, and like we said before, you were thinking as a child.
Right.
So, whatever mindset or, whatever mindset you had at that time as to why, she chose his side over yours, you might not even understand why she chose his side over yours, or it might not even been her choosing his side over yours. It was just what's right and what's wrong.
Right.
Like, at that time you were a child. So you were thinking as a child, you were talking as a child, and I'm pretty sure you were acting as a child. So, there are reasons why, the things happened when they did, but, you didn't understand at that time. So now it might be a time where you're able to understand. Now I'm pretty sure you have kids by now to where, you've had kids on your own. So you've probably been in that same state with your own kids as you were when you were at that moment with your mom and your stepdad. So, coming back to that moment with your mom and stepdad, if they're still together, whatever, or even just your mom, just realizing, what her state of mind was when that particular situation took place, and, what yours was at that time versus what they both are now. So that could always, clear up some, miscommunication, misunderstanding, just to clarify things on both ends, because it could be some things that your mom was thinking that could have been inaccurate as well about your stance. So, it was how many years ago? Like, that was so long ago. Like, that conversation should have been had a long time ago. So,
Right.
definitely.
Forgiveness.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Go
Yeah.
ahead and hash that out, get that over with, and get that off your back.
And some people have, when things like that have happened to them, they went on and become great people.
Right.
And so whatever the situation was, they were able to identify the thing that they did, and they didn't do it again, and it made them be able to see, well, what I did at that particular time, I couldn't continue on in my life that way, so for whatever it was. And so, but yeah, just find forgiveness, and remember, if it's not a life or death situation, don't hold on to it because it's not important.
It's not that serious. It's not
How
that deep.
serious can it be? You 40 years old now,
Yes.
and it's like, let it go. So
Well, my take on it is, if it's still bothering that person, I think it is serious, but it's not too late to deal with it.
Right.
So your feelings are valid, but you need to do something with them. Something progressive, not nothing that's going to mentally hold you back or hold you down.
but it sounds like it has been holding them back.
Yeah.
So that's why I say you need to let it go.
Right. So sometimes we have to put our feelings in our pocket and keep moving forward. The main thing is to move forward, because going back there, even when you go back there and get it right with the person, look how long that span of a space in that it's been holding you, and you've been holding on to other grudges as well.
Right.
Like
So,
from
let it go.
14 to 40, and you still holding on to that, get it out. Like she said, write it down, make a song about it, go confront the person, tell them, well, Mama, I felt this way at this time,
Right.
and I think you owe me an apology. Let her apologize so you can move on. Stop letting that hold you back. Life is too short.
Right.
It's too short. And if you got kids of your own, you will find out, like, thinking from a child's point of view versus a grown-up point of view is two totally different things.
Right. And if you still thinking as a child, as an adult, then something is majorly wrong there. Like, your mindset and everything should be in a whole nother place. You shouldn't even have that same mindset. So when you come back to your mama to discuss that same situation that happened however many years ago, Your mindset should not still be in the same place as it was when
Right.
that situation happened.
Right.
But it might be if they never found like healing, because
That's true, but I bet the mother is not. Because
Yeah,
she did
she
what
don't
she
know.
had to do, what she thought was right for her to do. You know, and so if she needed, if you was just if her peace was being disturbed, and she had a child that was being rebellious, because something happened that caused that mother to be able to do that, and it wasn't just a one-time thing. It was something, I'm sure, that was continually to be done, unless there was a chemical imbalance in the parent that they just reacted on impulse.
Well, we do have another, dear Jen, and I want this to be quick 'cause we have really went over an hour. But this is kind of like from the last episode, so it's dealing with how men have feelings too. Dear Jen, what do women want? I dated a woman while I was going through a hard time, and I tried to express how I was feeling to her. She thought I was less of a man and ghosted me after she seen me cry. Do women want a sensitive man that care about her needs and can show emotions, or do they want a man that can't show any at all? Should I not express how I feel? Confused and lonely.
I mean, every woman is different, so it depends on what woman you're dealing with to determine what she wants. Just to be transparent, I grew up with like men that didn't really show much emotion, so that was normal to me. And then when I met my husband, he's phenomenal at showing like his emotions and speaking about his feelings and stuff like that. I had to get used to that.
Right.
At first, I thought it was odd, but now I've grown to understand him and learn him that he's just properly communicating.
Right.
So it depends on if the woman is willing to get to know you and accept you for who you are. But my advice to you would be, you be the way that you want to be. If you want to show your feelings and things like that, keep doing it.
Right.
If she can't accept you for who you are,
Right.
then you need to make a decision.
That ain't your person.
Right, yeah.
Anybody else got anything to add to that?
No, I agree. I totally agree. Like she said, if that person, you know, just ain't in touch with their inner side, or if they're not able to express themselves like you are, they're never going to understand you. They're never going to understand, you know, the way you express yourself, because they're going to be always looking at you like, okay, like, all right. You know, like, you need somebody that's going to be able to interact with you. You know, somebody's going to be able to understand, okay, you feeling this type of way. Okay, I understand that you feel this way. I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that different because you feel this type of way about that. Or, you know, if it is something that they can't control or whatever, you know, but you want to have somebody that's going to listen, somebody that's going to actually, you know, take heed to. I feel like it's kind of a warning, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you letting somebody know, you know, how you feel, and then, you know, you keep letting them know, like, this is how I feel about this is how I feel about that, and then it just, nothing happens, you know, the same thing continues, and then when you lash out, and then they're like, why did you do that? And it was like, I've been telling you the whole time, but you haven't been listening. So you want to have somebody that's going to be receptive to, you know, whatever it is that you are feeling, not just to listen, but to take heed to whatever you're saying and try to help you, you know, and guide you into, you know, the path that you want to go. Like, if y'all not on the same page, or if y'all don't have the same mindset, same intentions, you know, then it'll never work. So, right. You know, if that person doesn't have the same intentions, or they don't care about your intentions, then that's just not a place that you should be. Even if that means you have to be by yourself.
Yeah. Well, I want to say thank you again for joining us
Yes.
and having this conversation with your mom,
Absolutely.
being transparent and telling her how you feel.
Mm.
We appreciate you. You can follow us on TikTok or Facebook at Check That Post Podcast or on YouTube at Check That Post Pod. Hit the subscribe and like button and turn on your notifications so you know every time that we go live or have a new episode. You can write a Dear Jen letter to checkthatpostpod@gmail.com or text 866-311-2251. This has been Check That Post Podcast.
With yours truly, Gentleman Nelson. Yo, it's a family affair.